Let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Hey, thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. What has caught your attention in the automotive world?
There was an event that happened in my family that my wife and I had a discussion, and we determined that when we got married, we did not think this is something that would ever happen.
Okay.
Did not think it was something that would even exist.
Oh, I think I know where you're going. Do I know where you're
Yeah,
going?
we bought an electric vehicle.
You bought an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't think we shouldn't talk about this. People are going to get mad.
He's got a good ratio. He's got like 12 gas to 1.
Yeah,
so
the ratio is strong.
as long as you don't exceed the ratio, you're safe.
You're about America. Your percentage of EVs is about correlates with.
I think it'd be
the
fair.
country.
It'd be fair. But no, it was a new experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned a couple of things already. And I've also learned that I really, really like the car.
Okay.
And our daughter's going to drive it too. And but no, it is a.
So has the handoff happened?
No.
Okay.
No, we're still using it. We're sharing it.
So when I head out tomorrow, should I bring a rope just in case I see it on the side of the road?
No, I think we'll be good. We'll be good. No, we bought a Tesla Model Y.
Okay.
And last weekend.
That's the question. Why?
Yeah, that's fair. You guys can give me all the static you want. I'll take it. I'm a big boy.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy driving them.
We went ahead and
don't want to pay the insurance.
we went up to Rogers, Minnesota, to the Tesla boutique up there, the outlet. They've got a nice service and area up there in
Is it at
Rogers.
the outlet mall?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's near a big little intersection along the interstate, though. But we met a gentleman there named Kyle that had our purchase experience lined up.
Okay.
We had a 15-minute time slot scheduled to pick up the car.
No red flags there.
And we were done in 12.
All right.
Everything was done ahead of time on the app. This would drive some people crazy. It did drive me crazy. I wanted to ask a lot more questions. I did ask a lot of questions. They had a message and a chat function that I was able to work through, and I adapted.
Okay.
And it worked well. We drove the car home that night. It's very, very easy, but it's different.
Right.
Because we put in navigation for our home address, and so it's about a 4-hour give or take drive. And it showed us where we needed to go and how long we needed to stop at each place to get the correct charge. We needed to stop in Worthington for 9 minutes in order to get home with whatever baseline charge I wanted to leave in the car when I got to my house.
Okay.
So I set that I wanted to arrive home with 30% charge because I just wanted to have that in there to go back into Sioux Falls.
You spend more than 9 minutes in the gas station every time.
Well, they got that one lined up in Worthington. It's a 250 kW station, supercharger station, which is bigger than the ones we have here in Sioux Falls. They're 125. And so we were there it was supposed to be 8 minutes. We ended up staying for 18 minutes because we went into Hy-Vee and bought some things we needed.
Yeah.
And so the car was done charging by the time we were out of the store. And it was really, really slick. We've got the full self-driving option for 3 months. I'm not going to pay as much as they want for it, but we get to play with it.
What is it? What's the?
It's a $8,000 premium.
Okay.
Up front.
Okay.
Once, twice, 10 times. How much? When do you have to pay it?
Once. You pay it once
for the life of the car.
I believe that's how it works. I've got a monthly fee in there too. I got to research that a little bit, but I don't plan on buying that.
Sure.
But I will say that it was amazing, and I got in trouble already.
Yeah.
Yes, I was given a strike by Tesla already.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think this has to do with your full self-driving bonus offer. I mean, it's like a drug dealer. They're saying, here, try this.
Right.
You're really going to like it, and you're not going to want to get rid of it. And so we were up by Rogers, and we went into the middle part of the city on 62 down to the Edina Galleria, and we were in that area. And so we jumped back out onto 169. Mm-hmm. And when I got on 169, I I had enabled full self-driving before that trip, and I hit it, and I just watched. The car took me around the on-ramp. It merged me into traffic. It passed slower cars. I did not touch literally or pay attention to what I was driving until we were close to Mankato, which is about halfway.
Mm-hmm.
It was very impressive how smooth it was. My wife was following me, and she said that she could tell that somebody else was driving the car.
I bet.
It was a much better driver.
Uh-huh.
And there, but I did get kicked off because if you're not paying attention,
Right.
it's watching your eyes, it's watching
Mhm.
your emotions. If you're not paying attention, it gives you a little, the navigation screen flashes blue,
Yep.
and it says you need to touch the wheel and show steering input basically. And I must have missed that cue, and so it shut it down, and it said that your FSD has been shut down until your next trip. I thought, okay, no big deal. Next trip is when I shut the car down, and I'll start a new trip, and I'll do it again.
Oh.
So when I got to Worthington, to the Supercharger, I just kept driving because I had a wingman, my wife with the radar detector got ahead of me.
Right.
And we made a quick trip down to Worthington after that. And yeah, she's my wingman. And we got down there, and when I shut off the car,
As opposed to the time I was your wingman.
yeah, exactly. So we shut off the car, and I got a warning across the dash, the entertainment screen or the function screen, whatever you want to call it.
The
Big
TV.
screen TV. And it said, you have received a strike on your, this is paraphrasing, your full self-driving account. 4 more strikes, and it will be suspended.
Okay.
And so they basically, and it's not by driver, because I got my wife in there and I got my daughter in there, and they get the same message when they enable full self-driving. So that account has a strike against it already, and if you get 5 of them, you lose your trial. And so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so many things interesting about the car. My daughter got in it, and she had watched a lot of TikTok videos, and she was already showing me everything about how the car worked. It, as a young person, college-age kid, just intuitive,
Yeah.
just no problem. They figured everything out so fast. It was incredible. And I can see where, as we generationally change, or there's people that are coming into the car purchase environment. I know one of my kids, maybe 2 of them, would have loved that purchase experience.
Yeah.
They don't want to be hassled by somebody, and they don't want to be sat down to see what else you need to buy when you buy the car. The other one would have wanted to negotiate, haggle, talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was I'm just trying to keep eyes wide open. And I could see where the opportunities lie for what's there.
It's funny you say that, because when we were at my son's wedding, we rented a car, and it was the same. It was not the same experience, but it was a brand new vehicle we were in, and my son was a driver on it. I would say within 10 minutes of us getting the car, he knew every feature on it, every self-driving feature, where the buttons were, everything about that vehicle. And my daughter, the more she learned about it, was like, oh, I wouldn't want to have to pick that. I wouldn't. There's too many. I don't want to scroll through a menu. I don't want to do any of that. And my son knew where the sub menus were right away, and it's just a different thing. And I think my wife, same way. She was like, can you just get in and drive? That's what I would want to do. And she was just the kind of like, she didn't care about all the options, and my son knew all the options immediately.
What was interesting to me, though, from my own experiences, and I'm not an amazing driver by any means. I have my attention problems and everything else, but how comfortable I was quickly with the system,
Mm-hmm.
with the full self-driving system. As soon as that took me around a cloverleaf on an on-ramp onto an interstate and merged me into traffic without a hitch, I was like,
Okay.
huh.
Yeah.
I mean, now false sense of security, whatever, but I was at comfort quickly
Mm-hmm.
with the system, which I didn't expect based on things I've read
Yep.
and other people I've talked to that had given me no range. I had 0 range anxiety because I knew where I was going. Now,
Right.
if I had to deviate and something changed, I would probably be really nervous.
Yeah.
And now we're going to take the vehicle. My son gets married this coming Saturday in Belfouche, South Dakota, which is all the way across the state.
Geographic center of North America.
And is it really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a fact I didn't know. And so
Are you serious?
So we will. We'll have our experience of driving across the state of South Dakota, which you look at a map, that's a big span.
Yeah.
And there's a network that it shows you right on the screen where we're going to have to stop and how long. And then after the wedding, we're taking that same vehicle and driving it to Phoenix, Arizona from Belfouche. So I'm going to have some experiences driving in this electric vehicle across the country. I've made a few videos already. Maybe I'll put some up on our channel, but it's been interesting, and I'm just getting educated and enjoying the experience.
So next week, or are you're gonna be here next week?
I gotta look at my schedule. Okay, I don't think so.
Okay, but we'll have next time we see
I don't even
you.
know if I'll be in Phoenix next week. I got to get there first.
It's true. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. The phone number to reach us, 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
Shannon and Russ have spent their whole lives with their heads under the hood, and that's the way they like it. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Georgia and talk to Tony. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tony, what can we do for you?
You guys are awesome. I so appreciate you, and you help people every single day, including me.
Thank you.
Today, I'm becoming a pretty regular caller. Unfortunately, stuff keeps breaking, but I guess it's the life of cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working on my dad's 2017 F250, and it has the IMRC, knock issue. It sounds kind of like a knock from the intake manifold, and so I removed the intake manifold, and none of the little doors are broken. They all seem, I put my hand in there and, took both of the solenoids off the back so I could put a little pressure to just make sure they weren't like stripped or anything, against my finger. And they all seemed like they're exactly like they're supposed to be from the factory. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I do next? Do I just start replacing all the solenoids? You got the one that's on the plastic part right behind the throttle body. Then you got your two little vacuum solenoids, one on each side, kind of, close to that. And then on the back, you got those spring piston things. That's probably not the word for them. And then you have, the solenoids that connect at the bottom of that. What would be my next step on trying to, figure this out?
Russ, do you want to explain what he's talking about for other people that are listening?
IMRC, intake manifold runner control valve. For the old school people out there who aren't familiar with that term, like I wasn't when they first introduced it, think of a tunnel ram on a car. You got a big, long runner tunnel ram to give you more torque at that higher RPM that race engine's going to be running. But then if you have a regular flat, short intake, flat plane intake, you get the more torque at the lower RPM. Well, they have an intake manifold runner, longer runner, tunnel ram, shorter runner, not, flat intake. And it's a runner control. It can adjust the length. It can vary the length of those runners by routing the air a different direction in your intake. And they use this on 4-cylinder cars, 6-cylinders, 8s, everything in order to give you more torque at the low end and more torque at the high end, which gives you more efficiency and better fuel economy at the highway. So if you can have, let's say, 350 pounds of torque at 1,000 RPM and 350 pounds of torque at 2,000 RPM, you can maintain that, whereas normally it would fall off when you get to a higher speed and you'd lose fuel economy. So that's how they're getting more fuel economy.
And I would assume, just for other people listening to, this is the 6.2-liter gas motor you're talking about, correct?
Yes, correct.
Because I know all I remember is post-COVID, these intake manifolds were not available, and they were as expensive. They were as expensive as an engine.
Yeah.
People were putting them on eBay when they get their hands on one. It was crazy. That's all I remember.
Buy them too. They do. Yeah, they stick. So the valves inside the actual doors will stick in them. They'll break. They'll stick. They'll just be so stuck that you can move them with your finger, but when the engine's running and there's suction on the intake, you can't move them very well.
What makes it knock?
Problem. What, a lot of it can be just
A solenoid ratcheting or something?
Well,
or?
part of that, and I think you get the detonation on the engine because it thinks it's one direction. It actually changes the fuel curve of the engine. If you change the airflow in there, you need a different fuel curve, and that's causing a problem as well.
So what should we do, Tony? You've heard. I just want to make sure
you may have to replace the whole assembly. We have so many of those that failed. You had to put the whole thing on there because the doors aren't properly moving inside. Otherwise, you've got to diagnose it one part at a time. You've got to activate the solenoids and see if the vacuum is moving, and one piece at a time. But like I said, I've seen so many of those that the assembly was bad. You can pick up an intake. This is one that I don't know for a fact if our partner over at Dorman Products has this model for sale, but they do carry tons of them.
I talked to them yesterday.
Yeah? What'd they say?
I talked to them yesterday, and they don't make one for
Not
this
yet.
for this truck. Right, not yet. Which I told them, I'm like, this is a super common thing. It seems like happens left and right to everyone that has one of these that I know of. So is my only option to buy the whole entire thing, the $1,500, from Ford or whatever? Or they said to check with some company called like ATP Intakes or something.
I'm not familiar with them.
I think that's what they told me.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that company.
And then if I find so we don't know if it's one of the solenoids or if it's part of the plastic part that's bad. Although they seem great in my hands, like they seem free and everything. You're saying you think we should just replace the entire plastic part and all the solenoids and stuff? It is a lot of work to take that in and out. You know what I mean?
Right. For you at home, that's going to be the easiest thing because then you get everything that can possibly fail and it's done in one shot. And we see a lot of them that's the way because there's more than there are multiple failures in there going on, or things worn and completely out, some partially out. What we would do is actually test them. We would test the parts. We can go through and test it within an hour and a half and find out if they're all working. If they all test fine, we know we got to replace the whole assembly anyways. But if we find out that we've just got one or two pieces out, we may just replace those to save the money. What we don't want to do and what we want to avoid is having one where let's say we charge a customer $580 because we put a solenoid on and a vacuum pot, and then they come back in a month and say it's doing the same thing again. So we look at it and think we got it fixed, and we go, well, we just replaced one under warranty. You should be covered. Now we lose $300, $400, $500 to try to get it going again. We've warrantied the part, and it does it again, and then we end up putting an intake on it, and then we're kind of back to square one. So you want to make sure that you can fix it right and guarantee the repair to work, and a lot of times that requires the entire part.
And how do I make sure I'm getting the right part? You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really see there are some numbers on it, but how do I make sure, because they'll have them listed online, different websites and stuff, it's the whole full assembly for 6.2. Is it just kind of like one part? Is it going to work for 6.2, or is there
it should
specific?
Be. As long as you get the year in there. They're really good when you get online with the VIN decoders where you put in the VIN of your vehicle. Let's say you go to an auto parts store. You give them the VIN of the vehicle or the license number, which they can convert to a VIN off. And when they do, it'll tell if it fits that vehicle or not. And what it's doing, it's cross-referencing their aftermarket part number with the factory OEM part number to make sure it works. But I believe they're the same on those. I think there is only one part from the factory for those, which is good for the aftermarket because then if they design it the same, they're going to get the same one on all of them.
And so you don't, would it, what if I ordered all the solenoids, like all the way around, all six of them or whatever?
If you're going to go that far.
You're saying it still could be the plastic part, though.
If you're going to go that far, I'd replace the entire unit. If it's got more than one piece failed on it, because I have seen that happen. We've done it. We replace all of them, and it still doesn't work because it's got an internal issue. The Chryslers were horrible about that. So if we have one of those with a code for one of those, it's getting a whole intake because I've just been burned so many times trying to do that, or had customers come in that they said, hey, I had some work done on it and it's still doing it. Well, you need to replace the whole thing. And carbon gets in there and jams them up. That's another reason for cleaning an intake system out. CRC's got an intake system cleaner kit. We've used that. It sprays in through the intake and decarbonizes a lot of that stuff. But the thing is, you got to do these preventively.
Right.
If you wait until it's broken, you can clean the carbon off, but you've already created wear in there, like when pistons wear from the AFM issue and stuff. So,
Tony, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. Welcome back to the Under the Hood Show. We're glad to have you with us. Don't forget, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you'd subscribe there. Also, if you join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com and join that, if you subscribe to the Under the Hood Show YouTube page, you could win a hoodie.
Like Grant Martin's, congratulations to everybody here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage, and Universal Technical Institute, UTI.edu.
I was going to send a message to Berkeley, to Tim.
Yeah.
And ask him if they know the first car. Tim, if you're listening, we had this conversation last week. Do you know what the first classic was that you guys insured? Just that.
Is it part of the story? Is it part of the story?
Yeah. So, Tim, if you're listening, get that to me. Fair enough?
There you go.
All right. Now, let's go to Texas and talk to Sean. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Sean, what can we do for you?
Thanks. I have a 2015 Toyota Sienna, and the AC compressor works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. If I disconnect the battery for a bit, I can get it to where it'll kick on when I turn the air conditioner on. The last time I did that, I hooked up a set of gauges to it to see what my pressures were. And on the low end, I had 68 PSI, and on the high end, I had 230 PSI. I don't really know what those mean necessarily, but is my issue with the compressor, or is there something else in the system that I need to check first? Just kind of looking for some direction on how to proceed with that.
Those are both too high. Did you try to charge this yourself? Did you add refrigerant to it? Okay, that's a good step one. Step two, are the fans running on high when the AC's on?
Well,
Okay.
when the fans are, when the compressor works, the fans are running.
Good.
And they'll work in conjunction. Yes.
3, is the area in front of the fans, in front of the radiator and condenser, and the area between the radiator and condenser completely clean, dirt-free, so there's air flowing through there, or have you looked between there to know?
They are clean. I have rinsed the area off and
In between?
inspected that area.
Right in
Yeah.
between the two? Okay, because if it's dirty, it will give you the higher pressure. So at this point, if you've got that higher pressure and all of that stuff is clean, the fans are working, there's airflow, you haven't added anything to it, you need to get that thing evacuated and recharged to find out what's going on. It may be that it's got air in there. The air may get in there when it's very cold, and the seals shrink and the refrigerant pressure goes down because of the refrigerant. If it's 0 outside, the pressure is going to be 0 and it'll allow air in. If it's got air in it, it doesn't condense like your refrigerant does into a liquid. You can't do it. You can't get enough pressure to make liquid oxygen. That would be really high pressures. So the pressures will be high and it will kick off because the computer sees that there's a problem with high pressures. Sometimes you can disconnect that battery, reset it, and it'll start over again, and then it'll realize the pressures are too high, so it's shutting down. I would have it evacuated and recharged and find out if that cures your issue, because the compressor's working because it's pumping a lot of pressure on that high side. Yeah, definitely that would be our next step. If I had gauges on one and saw them both high like that, and I had good flow, so the temps are where they're supposed to be. Is if the fans don't work or it's dirty, that high side's going to climb, and so is the low side quickly.
Right.
So, but you've already verified that's working and it's clean. So, the next step is to evacuate and recharge. They'll pull it out, they'll vacuum it down for a while, and then they'll recharge it with refrigerant and see what it does.
So a little bit of part of that story, I had not this issue, but an issue where it just wasn't cooling while it was idling very well.
Mm-hmm.
This has been about, I don't know, 2 years ago. And so I took it to a shop and I had it evacuated and recharged at their suggestion. And it didn't really change anything. So, I mean, and now I'm a couple of years past that, and now I'm having this issue. So I don't know if that means anything to you, or if that changes anything, or what.
No, I mean, it might have had a problem before and where it was leaking, might still have that problem again. So what did they do to fix the problem where it wasn't cool at idle?
Well, they didn't. They just discharged it
Mm-hmm.
and recharged it because they saw that there was an unbalance in the pressures. They weren't as high
Right.
as they are now, but there wasn't balanced. So that was their suggestion first, to try that. They put some stuff in there to see if they can detect any leaks. They didn't find any leaks in the system. They examined everything else, and didn't find any issues. So they basically said, okay, well, there might be something with the compressor, but before we do anything with that, go ahead and take it home for a while and see what happens.
Did it
Pretty
fix
much what I
itself, or is it just didn't work for you all this time?
No, it never really worked well. It would work well if you're driving, 45 and up. But I mean, if you were idling, you can tell that it was getting not cold enough.
Has it always
The
done
fans-
this, though? This where it didn't work at idle, or did it develop it while you drove it?
It has always done it. I mean, I've had this car for 6 years. It has never worked well at idle. It has done that for a while.
Okay, so
But
that's...
the compressor is different.
So
I mean,
it-
the compressor not coming on is different, though.
Okay, so it was 5 years old when you bought it.
That's right.
Okay, there is a possibility. I've seen these vans. We've had to recharge some of these at 3 to 4 years. It's a possibility that somebody recharged it, or they hit an animal with it or something and had to put a condenser in it up front, or it got damaged during service. If they added oil to it, and I've seen too many techs just say, well, let's just put 2 ounces or 3 or 4 ounces of oil in it every time. If it's got too much oil, it's going to cool poorly at idle, but it'll work good down the
Okay.
road if everything else is good.
Uh-huh.
And how you fix that is by you don't know exactly how much oil's in there. So sometimes just evacuating it and recharging it is going to pull some of it out. But you don't want to pull too much out. I mean, it's kind
Right.
of a game. But
Right.
if you find that if you evacuate it and recharge it this time, and not only does it fix the pressures, but it's cooling better at idle, that's because some of that oil was removed during the service. I wouldn't add
that
any
makes
oil to it. When they recharge it, I wouldn't add anything to it at this point.
Sean, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. I think we all just need that once in a while, don't we?
It's a recharge?
In our life, evacuate the whole system and then recharge, right? I mean, just, it's what vacation is for your head.
Can you wait till
I kind
the
of do that every morning.
And then
show's over?
when you come back
Yeah,
from
evacuate
vacation,
then.
there's always 866-594-4150. Let's go to Kansas City and talk to Rock. You're on the Under the Hood show, Rock. What can we do for you?
Hey, good morning. So technically, age-wise, this vehicle is probably qualifies at the 2006, but it is a skid steer. So if you want to guess the color, we could do that up front.
I don't think it quite qualifies, but
I'm going white.
are you thinking it's a Bobcat? I'm
going white.
I'm thinking it's yellow. It's either it's yellow. That's a real safe
red.
guess.
Red.
Okay, Kubota red.
Which is it?
No, it's yellow. It's an ASV. So
Okay.
Well, that was not the brand I was thinking of. I knew yellow. I could hit like 3 or 4 brands.
For sure.
yep, there's a lot of them yellow. So my question is, obviously this is 2006. It's a diesel. When I shut it off, it continues to run for anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds, and it's again, if it's up throttled, it starts slowing down, but again, it doesn't shut off immediately. And from what I understand is, the only way that runs is if it's got fuel going to it. And so I'm thinking that it's got maybe an air leak or something, or somehow it's pulling the rest of the fuel that's in the line. I did replace the fuel shutoff, and that seemed to help a little bit, but it still doesn't. So just curious if I'm headed down the right path, and then how would I find the leak if that, it is indeed what it is.
Has it always done this?
Since I've had it, yes, and the guy before me said it's always done it.
Okay.
But I don't think it's supposed to.
Well, that's so that's the thing. Is it's a turbo?
Yes.
Okay, so on some of the turbos, they have a delayed shutdown feature, and it's intentional. When you turn the key off, it'll lock the controls. You can't control the vehicle, but that also means that nothing's moving, and it's in pause mode to circulate the oil through the turbo a little bit, so you're not going from I'm ramming a pile of dirt to shut it off and then cake the oil around the bearings in the turbo. So what you need to do, you could contact the service center and ask them if it's supposed to do that, and they'll tell you. If they say no, second step is to get a voltmeter and hook up to that shut-off solenoid on the pump, and when you turn the key off, watch it. If it shuts off immediately and the engine keeps running, the pump's got a problem. If so, it's because you've already replaced the solenoid. But if it has power there,
okay. But if the pump has a problem, I mean, doesn't the flow of the fuel go through that solenoid and it's
no, the
basically
solenoid
blocking it?
The solenoid lets a valve open and lets fuel flow. So when the solenoid closes, it shuts the valve off because the solenoid can't hold that much pressure. So you're shutting it off. It's kind of like a transmission solenoid. So and the other thing you can do is go to the pump while it's running, keep your fingers out of the fan blade and unplug the solenoid and see if it shuts off. If it shuts off immediately, then it's the vehicle controlling that solenoid, keeping it running.
Okay.
If it doesn't shut down immediately, the pump is bleeding inside. And I wouldn't worry about it, but if it keeps going, what happens if you pull that off and it runs for 20 minutes and then you're in, at least it'll shut off. You have to go find the fuel line and get some vice grips and shut that thing down to get it to kill. But I wonder if that one is designed that way, because I know I've rented a few that were designed that way.
Yeah, I've talked to the manufacturer and service, and they didn't indicate that because they were telling me some things that it's got to be continuing to get fuel because it continues to run for a period of time. So, and it's a 2006, so I don't know if it was that advanced to have the circuitry to keep pumping oil.
Yeah, some of them. I had a track hoe I was running a couple years ago that had that in there, but it would actually run for a minute. You'd shut it down and it would start beeping at you. That it had a light.
But you could tell in that case it was a controlled situation.
Oh yeah, you shut it off and it would go beep beep and it would say shut down on it, and then it would kill.
Could he have a turbo seal out that's pulling oil and is using that to run instead of actual injection pump?
Yeah, that's possible too, and that can be found by pulling the intake off to
see if you got a bunch of oil in your.
Yeah, and you'd be burning oil too with the engine. There's a lot of things to check, but I'd start with unplugging the solenoid.
It does burn a little bit of. Yeah, it does burn oil, so that's interesting. The sealing the turbo, and so how would I check that or verify?
Well, you pull off the tube between the turbo outlet and the intake, and if it's just dripping wet with oil, that's a lot of oil. It's going to have a mist in there, but it's not going to be like running. If it's really dripping wet, then that'd be
enough to
oil.
Still run that diesel engine for a bit.
It's like a gas car. When we used to shut the old ones off in the 70s and stuff, they would kind of run on because they were dripping fuel into the intake, so they had idle stops on them.
This show, every once in a while, still, I'm amazed by you guys. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
If it needs more than duct tape, you need Under the Hood.
(866-594-4150). That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to California and talk to Joe. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Joe, what can we do for you?
How you guys doing this morning?
Fantastic, Joe.
I got a 1964 Chevy El Camino with a 327 and a Sniper EFI system. I'm a little bit at a loss here of, what my fix could be. The problem is I have erratic air-fuel ratio. Just sitting there idling cold, it'll go from 12 to 1 to 17 to 1, probably 10 different times in the same second. Excuse me. And it could get a max of 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. So there's a real big span there. The idle air control valve ramps all the way up to 100, and you have to use your foot to, keep it alive until it warms up. When it warms up, it'll stay running. It'll do RPM, but it'll still have the erratic air fuel. I put a new NGK O2 sensor in it, thinking that could be the problem. It was not. I spent 3 hours on the phone with Holly, sent the unit back to Holly, and they gave it a clean bill of health. I proceeded to put a new cap, rotor, plugs. I put from, I think it's DI Industries. They make a grounded braided wire loom that you can put over the wires to help with the interference. I put that on there. I pulled the intake off, sent it over to a machine shop to check for squareness, and it's within 1 to 2 thousandths across both surfaces. And I ran a compression test, which was 170 to 175 across all cylinders. The motor has like maybe 200-300 miles on it. Help.
Good ending.
So is this one of their mass airflow units, or is it a map sensor only?
It should just be a map. It's just their all-in-one unit. It's like kind of like a TBI.
Yeah, but they didn't include a mass airflow sensor with it in the intake air tube. Just the throttle body with a map sensor built onto the back.
No.
Okay. If you have an engine that has a lot of modifications done to it, it's going to have to be tuned specifically for that, unless it has a mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow system can sense the amount of air flowing into the engine, no matter what kind of camshaft you have in it, and it'll automatically adjust. But when you got a map sensor with the vacuum running up and down and things, it can get a little wonky, like yours is doing.
I guess to add a little more history to the engine, is the Holly unit was I put it on in 2020 when I rebuilt this engine. And then, long story short, is I had an issue with the transmission. I believe it's stuck on high line pressure, and it, tore up the thrust bearing, and the thrust plate that's why the engine had to be rebuilt recently. Get the end play into spec again. And it ran fine for years with this camshaft, with this, and nothing changed except for a little machine work to fix the crankshaft.
So I'm just going to recap that. So it ran wonderfully until you took the engine out of the vehicle and reinstalled it with the same fuel injection system, everything the same as it had before.
Everything the same as it was before. The machine-wise, I had it line honed. I had the thrust plate on the crankshaft repaired, and then the block was decked 7 thousandths, but then made up for that with the head gasket, adding thickness to that to get my quench right. You
didn't change the cam or the rockers?
Nope, same exact one since 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, everything you just described should not have changed. Especially when you said
shouldn't change a single thing,
change a
unless you've got a wire that's broken in the system somewhere being pulled. You would think taking it off, sending it into Holly, bringing it back again would change something again, because for them to see it bad on the car, good on the bench, bad in the car. Where they're running it on the bench, I haven't been into their studio and looked at their flow bench to see how they're testing it. So I don't know what kind of real world scenario they're using that could be different in the car. I mean, they're pretty good at that kind of stuff, but I do know a lot of these companies have shrank tremendously from what they used to be. We used to have a friend of ours that used to work for Magnuson Superchargers.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, we went from this facility to me. Remember that? It was
started in a garage, ended in a garage.
the tuner, the tuner guy for his part of the division. Yeah. So he said, he says it's a different type of work, what he was doing than what they used to do for testing. So I'm not sure how they test that system. That's gonna be a tough
I thought
one.
maybe you could have an internal vacuum leak.
Oh yeah.
At the intake, but then I thought about it and I bought the same exact gasket. It's the thicker intake gasket. It's like the 60,000.
I'll tell you how to check
maybe
that.
The angle wouldn't be quite right.
Yep, I can tell you exactly how to check that fast. And if you're not familiar with it, you'll go, oh, that makes sense. Pull off the PCV valve from the one valve cover, and then remove the vent valve from the other valve cover, and then stick your hand over both the holes, or tape up one hole so you only have one hole left into that engine, and put your hand over it. If there's suction there without a PCV hook to it, you got a leak inside. If there's no suction or a little bit of pressure blowing out, you're good. That's just the blow by and the normal pressure. If it pulls any suction at all, it's leaking
no suction.
None, because you don't have vacuum hook to it. You don't have PCV hook to it. That's how we found these Dodge, the Dodge with the 318s and the 360s. Those were horrible about leaking underneath, and they would burn oil because they would suck air and oil out of that valley right into the bottom of the intake, and you couldn't see it on top. We've seen that with older 350 Chevys, 383s, things people would build, and they would pull up in there.
I'm not the one to answer this question. I'm just going to throw something out there because I ran into this once a long time ago with a 351W that we put a 302 fuel injection system on, and it was a pain in the butt because the timing wasn't matching the fuel injection system. So when that engine went back in, did you use the same timing gears and timing set?
Yeah. I didn't change. The only new parts that went in were bearings and rings.
I just wonder if there's any chance is it off a tooth on the timing or something like that, and it's just not lining up with.
So it did run fine initially after the rebuild, and it was maybe a couple months after. So it makes me think like maybe that broken wire somewhere that we're talking about, or a vacuum leak that would cause that erraticness. Because I put it in, fired up, ran good. And then
timing was off. It would have never ran good.
And a vacuum leak could develop. I would start by checking that, because a vacuum leak could develop. If there's a small leak, it could get bigger, kind of like an oil leak on a valve cover gasket or something.
Well, I tell you what, though, here's the thing. I think that Joe's having a heck of a problem with this El Camino, and they're not a very popular car, so I think you just need to move that car to South Dakota. And we'll take care of it for you.
Oh, okay.
But we got to guess I got to decide what color it is, though, if I want to really take a shot at it or not. So,
yeah.
64 El Camino is a fun car.
By the way,
smaller body.
That the three of you, maybe the two of you, so deep in the weeds on that one.
Yeah, we got to bring people back here.
Joe was
just talking about color.
Joe and Russ were way. I could barely see them from where we're sitting.
So right. Berkeley One Classics. This vehicle is definitely a Berkeley One Classic, and I think that since he's done all this work to it, this has got to be gold. Chris,
shoot, I was gonna go gold. I'll go one of the other soft colors, like a blue.
It's silver.
Silver would be my other choice. I'll go any solid color.
Joe, other than in flames next weekend, if you don't get it running right, what color is this?
So it is blue. It's off of a 98 Viper. That Viper.
Oh,
GPS,
good color. Fun color.
Pearl coat.
That's blue.
Do you know what the original color was?
Pearly. Original, it was white with red interior.
I'm still not right.
Stay on the line. Producer Doug will get you set up for a hoodie from our friends over at Berkeley One Classics, celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage.
In our defense, we could not. There's no way we could have gotten the color exact. Right? I mean,
if you would have said Viper Blue.
That'll do it for this hour of the Under the Hood Show. Hour 2 is coming up, and we would love to have you give us a call. 866-594-4150. Thanks for listening to the Under the Hood Show.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show.
Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Welcome to Under the Hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. We got calls coming in from all over, so let's go right to the phones. And we'll start in Pennsylvania and talk to Rodney. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Rodney, what can we do for you?
I have a 2017 Ford Explorer. Well, actually, my wife has it. It's got 2,000 miles on it. My question is, would a transmission fluid exchange be right or transmission flush? And the only way I get the flush done is at a dealership, and it's very expensive. A private garage will do a fluid exchange.
Well, yeah, private garage is going to dump the fluid, take the pan off, dump it, or pull the drain. It's got a drain and fill in the same hole, so they're going to drain it and they're going to refill it. They can flush it too.
In the same hole?
Yeah.
Don't you have to flip it upside down?
It's got a standpipe. You know what a standpipe is, Chris?
Like at the bottom of a sink?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of. If you put a standpipe in the drain,
Yeah.
it essentially raises the drain. So when you fill it up, it gets so like a bathtub overflow. When it gets so high, it spills over.
Mm-hmm.
They have a standpipe in there.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you take the center bolt out. You take the whole bolt out to drain it. You put it back in. You take the center out, and it goes up into a pipe, let's say 2 inches high. You fill it through there, and then when it's completely full, it runs back out that pipe, so you know it's full. Standpipe. Makes it hard. But it also has a thermostat, which most vehicles do now. So if it was a Chevy, and I'm in an independent garage, somebody wants their fluid exchanged in a Chevy truck, I say, we got two things we're going to do, or two reasons we're going to do this. We're going to bypass. We're going to do a thermal bypass. I'm going to take your thermostat out, and I'm going to put a bypass kit in it, so it's always cooling the fluid because these transmissions get hot and burn up. So we're going to save your transmission. It's going to run you $100 extra, and we're going to flush it. Next time we don't have to do that because it's already in it, but it also allows us to flush it because when we hook the machine up, if you got a thermostat, you have to wait like 45 minutes. Now it's hot enough to move a quart of fluid, and now it's cool again because it ran through the cooler. I got to wait another 45 minutes.
I guess you see that restriction that it creates live when you do that.
Yes. So Ford and us is just as hard. We got to take the thermostat off. We have a adapter fitting. We unhook the cooler lines. We bolt our adapter fitting right to the transmission, and we flush it. And then we flush the cooler out. We put it back on. You're good to go. But that's a pain in the butt. You might as well just put the cooler bypass in it while you're doing that and hook up to the lines up front and flush it, and then it's better on the transmission. So in this case, I would ask that independent shop if they could put the cooler bypass on it and flush it, because that's what happened to me the first time. They said, well, could you just put the cooler bypass on it so we could just flush it instead of drain and fill? And I said, sure, it's this much. And they were like, let's do it. And it saves a lot of transmissions in our opinions. But
if the mileage you're at is a good mileage to do it,
flush it though. Don't just drain it and fill it. If you're going to do it, flush the whole thing. And you've got to look at that cost. Ask your independent shop, is the reason you can't flush this and you're saying I need to go to the dealer is because of the thermostat in there?
Or is it because you don't have the equipment?
Yeah. Or you don't have the equipment. And if you don't have the equipment, say, maybe you know a shop that does do this, because there's plenty of them out there that do it.
As an example, we have a flush machine at our shop, but we didn't have a flush machine a number of years ago. The one that was as good.
20-some years ago.
Right. So, I mean, not every shop has one.
Yep. Yeah. And at that time, we were
well, that's why
doing it different.
That's what I ran into. He said he doesn't have the machine.
Yeah, you'll find a shop that has one. You can go to another shop that has it, but they're still going to want to do the thermostat bypass. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to flush this out. The fluid's expensive for this Explorer. I'm guessing probably close to $20 a quart where you're at, and then you figure that times 12 quarts. You know,
Ooh,
$240.
That math just got expensive.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're, and then the cost of flushing it, so you might be $380, something like that. But on the other hand,
Oh no, the dealership wanted for the
Seven.
flush almost $1,200.
okay, yeah, that's too much.
Get a second opinion at a transmission
I
shop.
mean, for them, it's probably an okay price, but I think you can get it at a better price. But if you pay, let's say you pay $500-600, some of the Chrysler products, because we have to change the pan on them the first time, they might be $720. If you do that at say 80,000 miles, $720. If you get to 150, 160 and that transmission fails, that might be a $8,000 remanufactured transmission. So now that first time flush at 700 something and the second one at 300.
Yeah, his transmission
much
is a $3,000 remanufactured transmission plus labor.
30.
But there-
we put one in. I think it's $3,450 for that trans. yeah.
just the math makes no sense to me.
It's pretty high.
$1,200 to flush a $3,200 transmission, to me that math doesn't work.
No, that's a third. I mean, it's just
That
too
math
much.
doesn't work to me.
And the cost of flushing that is very high.
take my chances.
Because you could put a bypass kit in that with the cost of the fluid, even 20 quarts. I mean, which would be way overkill. It's still going to be under $600. So, I shop around. I think you'll find somebody that can do it. I mean, in the worst case, if they just all refuse to flush it,
And your fluid's in good shape, just drain and fill it.
Yep, drain and fill it twice. Pull the plug, drain it once it's good and warm. You drive it, pull it, drain it once, fill it back up, run it for another 50 miles or so, drain it again, change it. That's the way Honda does a lot of changes. They
And then
want
it'd
you to
still
change
be
it twice.
$500.
No.
Yeah, because you're doing 20 gallons twice.
No, not
His
20.
20 was an
Oh,
exaggeration.
drain-
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, you
typic-
use less if you drain
typically
and fill.
8
Okay.
to 12
Okay. All right.
quarts, not gallons.
Oh,
I said
yeah.
gallons. So,
Oh, yeah.
but when you're doing a drain and fill,
Exxon Valdez.
you're talking 5 or 6 quarts on a drain and fill.
Okay. All right. That.
Less than a flush. A flush is a complete system, torque converter and everything.
But in Rodney's case, you would go for it.
Right.
You would not.
Remember the old Ford, Shannon, C4 and C6? Yeah, you used to have a drain plug, and the E4ODs had the drain plug and the torque converter.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, you're like, why is a drain plug? So we would, in the Ford garage, we would pull the drain plug, pull the pan off, and
Yep.
we would get all that fluid out same way as a flush, and we didn't have to hook a machine up. But the machines were pretty rare back then. They had the old Wins machine. That was a lot to hook up, so we would just drain them.
Rodney, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. The phone number to reach us, 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's talk to Josh in Minnesota. Josh, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Hi, I've got a 2005 Chevy Silverado 1500 HD, and I noticed this spring that it sounded like there was like an exhaust manifold leak sound. Maybe that was my guess. Coming from, I could hear it mostly from the passenger side wheel well, and I had a couple of the manifold bolts that were broke off, so I did end up putting new manifolds on, getting all the bolts fixed. Well, that didn't fix it. I still heard the sound, but it was basically when it was parked. So then we thought maybe it was cracked flywheel. I guess I'm just looking for some input on that without having to pull the transmission out, and then that's not the problem.
All right, I'm gonna pull you down because you sound terrible.
That was rough.
Ironically, the closest call so far sounds the furthest.
And I would like to ask him a question or two.
Okay. See, Josh, if you have a different setting on your phone, if you're on your Bluetooth or speak, go to something else while Shannon asks this question.
Well, I'll let
Or
Russ.
I'll just give you some stuff. Well, now if he hangs up, he'll have to go back and listen to the podcast or
Yeah,
watch us on
But
YouTube.
he's still there.
He's still there.
It'll come back.
We just can't hear him.
So, noise you thought was an exhaust leak. Exhaust leaks typically go away as the engine warms up. Piston slap in an 05 Silverado is very common when the
6 liter
engine's
in this one.
cold, so as it warms up, it'll go away. Almost never continue when the motor's completely, when an engine's hot, like up to 200 degrees operating temperature. There's no AFM, active fuel management, shutting cylinders down on this engine for that problem. Lifters and cam wear can be enough to cause a little slight tick in these engines in the top end as they get old, but
Which
not
is usually
so much to kill
pretty
the engine.
identifiable.
Yeah, and
the
it's
top end noise.
It's constant. Transmissions, they had a little bit of noise. Sometimes I had to hear a couple of them that would have a little tuk 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 in the transmission that would do that. I've got an 04. Yeah, 04.
Same basic truck.
Yeah. That engine always has a very slight tuk 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 tuk, and it's got 295,000 miles on it. I was like, I don't care. It's not going to do anything weird. Doesn't use any oil. I'll just keep driving it. So I wouldn't be too alarmed about it until you go to a mechanic that says, "Oh, that's
yeah."
gonna
And we're
blow
not
up."
hearing this noise. That's what I
Yeah.
was just going to ask. Is just
And if a mechanic listens to it and says, "Oh, I hear that all the time," don't worry about it. No trouble heart or whatever Shannon says.
let not your heart be troubled.
There you
Let's
go. That thing.
let's check Josh. Is he better?
Are you better, Josh?
Yes. Is that better?
Perfect. Yeah.
Much better.
He climbed the tower.
So is this thing quiet down when it gets warm, or is this there all the time?
No, it's all the time. It's got about 170,000 miles on it.
Oh, does it go? Tuk,
And
tuk,
we
tuk,
pulled
tuk,
the-
tuk, tuk.
Yes. Yeah, that's
normal.
why I thought it was maybe a
That's
air
normal.
leak.
And it's back towards the back of the engine.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's probably the
it just
piston slap.
started.
If you pull,
And
you could pull the
Go ahead.
inspection cover and just try to get up in there with a light and look at the flywheel. But I don't think.
I bet that's the normal noise. They kind of go tuk 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 tuk.
Yeah.
They
Yep,
go-
the cover's off, and we haven't found any cracks in the flywheel. That's why we really don't want to pull the transmission out if
That's piston
that's
slap.
not the problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's piston slap. I haven't heard it myself, but I'd almost bet money it's piston slap, and that's fine. It won't hurt it. It'll do that forever till the motor's done, which could be another 100,000 or more.
Yeah, I'd like I said, Russ is hitting it right on the head.
Mine's been doing that for over
I'd have to hear it
100,000.
to see if it's like if I walk up to him and go, "Oh my God, what's that?" Or if it's
Okay.
just like, "Oh, another GM making some noise."
It sounds great.
Does that help you out there, Josh?
Yeah, so when we pulled that cover off of the front of the transmission, it wasn't making the noise anymore. So I drove it all summer, and now it's starting to finally make the noise again.
Of course.
So then, I don't know. I'm confused.
It could be too. I mean, so you get some wear in that. If that transmission's never been apart, it could be some wear on that front bushing in the transmission. I don't know. I guess not
You
here.
just got to have someone listen
Yeah,
to it.
I'd get another
Yeah.
opinion if someone listened to it that has been around with a lot of those trucks and say, is this a normal 170,000 mile noise, or is this an abnormal 170,000 mile noise?
Yeah, for sure. Josh, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Going to Mississippi, talk to Neil. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Neil, what can we do for you?
Yes, I have a 2023 F150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost, and within the last few days, last week, fuel mileage has dropped almost 5 miles per gallon, per gallon, from averaging in the low 20s all around. All of a sudden, I'm around 14. I reset it just to make sure it wasn't my wife, the way she drove it or something, and drove it myself. And it's showing no signs. No, engine seems fine, runs just like it always has. It's only 35,000 miles on the vehicle. I was just curious. We hadn't looked into it yet. No check engine light. Just curious what y'all think. Which way would you start?
No flames on the road behind you while you're driving?
No.
Okay, it's not coming out.
And it's driving the same pattern of where you're driving and everything, correct? We haven't done anything different or just pulled anything, or any different fuel stations or gas stations being used, or just anything different?
Right. No, nothing's different. Everything's very same on everything.
This thing's still under warranty, right?
It is.
All
It
right.
is.
I would have them go at it. Tell them what it is, because that's pretty
Substantial.
substantial, and you're measuring that, like Shannon would say, with you are filling it up with fuel, writing down the number of gallons, then looking at the miles and dividing it to make sure that you've got it right and you're not looking at the gauge on the dash, correct?
Well, honestly, I'm looking at the dash.
That could
Okay.
be lying to you. That happens often. It could be off. I would definitely fill it with fuel and divide it and see exactly what that number is, because the dealer's going to ask you that right away. They're going to want to know that, because you could have a software update that would help with that dash issue, could have a vacuum leak that would affect that dash drastically. Those are things they'll want to do. They'll want to perform. I mean, they figure that calculation a lot differently now using engine load, which is derived from a lot of different areas in order to get that mileage, because they know how much fuel per hour per minute that engine should burn under a certain load, and it's built into the algorithm. Where the old one used to just have a vacuum gauge that they literally had a gauge that would flop back and forth on old cars with the vacuum. So it may not have changed in fuel mileage.
Although, does it feel like it's changed? I mean, are you filling it up more?
Did you go, whoa, I used to drive across town and now I'm filling it twice?
Well, honestly, it hadn't been going on long enough for me to really say.
Good.
You know, just noticed in the last week.
Check it out by actually dividing it, drive it for 2 or 3 weeks, get those numbers down. And then if you say, whoa, I'm getting 18 miles to the gallon, why does my dash say 14 all the time? Then you can ask the dealer, or if it's getting 10 miles to the gallon and the dash says 20 or whatever, just look and see what the difference is and ask them, because a lot of times they will release software updates to help with those kind of things.
And we're making a very large assumption based on what you said, that this vehicle is still running the same and hasn't got any check engine lights on, because if anything like that changes, go in immediately and have them check it. Because then there's something.
Sure. Right.
But if it's still running just the same and you have no check engine lights, they're gonna do some verification before they'll put any parts on that vehicle for sure.
Right. Does this sound very unusual? I mean,
it's a big drop.
It just turns out. Yeah,
without feeling it, that's highly unusual. Without going, whoa, it's all of a sudden feeling weird.
Neil, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Going to California and talking to Tom. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tom, what can we do for you?
Hi. Well, I'm not in California. I'm in Kansas.
Okay.
I have a California number.
We're tracking you.
I'm having an issue. I have an issue with my car door on my 2000 Camry LE. It's a 4-door. The driver's side door won't open from the inside or outside. All the other doors function correctly. The key lock that you put the key in, it unlocks all the doors effectively, but I can't open the door inside or outside with the handle. I believe I'm supposed to remove the inner panel of the door to get at the mechanism, but I can't seem to do that without having the door open.
And I'm starving to death, so I need your guys' help.
I thought I was just going to make a good NASCAR
It's
joke.
one door.
How are you doing about getting in and out through that driver's window?
Gotta go Duke boys.
I don't. I don't pull a Dukes of Hazzard and do that. I come in through the passenger side door,
Sunroof.
and fortunately, I'm spry enough and still young enough at almost 70 years old. I can climb over the
center console,
the center divide there. And
So
it's a pain in the
This
neck.
is a
and I know
conundrum.
when the winter comes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
okay, first I got to know, because I always ask my customers this question. Did both of them fail at exactly the same second? Like you went, oh, I can't open the inside. Oh, I can't open the outside either. Or was one of them broke for a while?
It was intermittent. It at times it would stick, and then I'd have to nudge it, and it wouldn't come open, or sometimes it would. Now it's to the point where that little locking device that's on the door itself is holding on and won't let go. I have a feeling either a spring in the door or a lever in the door has become old because it's 25 years old.
So it was both the outside and the inside that every time it wouldn't
Correct.
work, they both. Oh, good.
But
Good for
intermittent.
you.
Okay.
Because I was going to shame you if you said, oh, well, the outside's been broke for 2 years and now the inside. Because that is the common 99 out of 100 say, well, yeah, the outside's been broke for a while. I just didn't want to fix it. And then when I tell them it's going to be $800 to fix it because we've got to get another door panel, take the seat and the console out to get the inside one off, which we're going to have to cut and rip off the door and then put a latch in it because they didn't want to spend $125 to put a handle on the outside of it when it broke years ago. They're like, well, I'll just climb over the console. I'm like, yeah, you will. But in your case, that's not your fault. I think what happened is your latch failed. And I've seen this before.
Correct.
And I'm going to be going for trying to find ways to get a really good shop who's got experience at this. Somebody new is not going to get it. It's going to be somebody with some experience to know how
Correct.
to get that to open one more time. And then all you got to do is take the panel off.
Exactly.
And what I do is you don't force it. You will break it. But if you kind of play with it, pick up the handle on the outside like you're going to hold it open and then push the lock down, pull the lock up, try it both ways,
Just mess
a little
with it.
faster. Drop the handle, just let it go like you're dropping a clutch on an old Corvette, but you just keep doing that and eventually you're going to get it in
Get
just
somebody
the right
inside
spot.
flipping it at the same
Pull the
time.
handle out, drop it as you're
Have
trying
somebody
to.
banging on the.
This is the
about where
same thing that
just
happens
poop, poop, poop.
when you try to unlock a door and somebody's pulling up on the passenger handle as you unlock it, and then they're like, I can't get in. It's like,
Okay.
it's unlocked. Nope, the handle's not working. You want to try to get it to reset, and then once it's open, take that panel off the inside. Even if you don't put the part on it, get it off. But I think you will be able to play with
I
it.
think he's going to get it open.
Yep.
I mean, usually if you mess with that thing enough, you can get lucky.
And if you've been crawling over the center console for any amount of time, you're patient enough to try the door handles. Just keep trying it for a while.
I will. I'll try that. I'll open up the window, do that, but a Slim Jim wouldn't between the
No.
window and the door
No.
panel. That won't work.
You're probably just going to make
Probably
a bigger
not.
problem. Yeah.
It's an integrated latch assembly that's inside of there, and you can't actually get at that latch piece.
Tom, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. I have a question for you. What year did you start this show?
1990.
Okay. And on that show, if you'd gotten a call about a 1965, would that have been a Berkeley Classics at the time?
Yes.
Yes. Why isn't this Camry a Berkeley Classics? It's 26 years old.
Because it's got electronic door latches.
Because cars are better nowadays. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always catch it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our YouTube feed. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at UnderTheHoodShow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Bart Kellogg, congratulations to everybody here at the End of the Hood Show and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage and Universal Technical Institute. Find them at uti.edu.
Let's talk to Dave here on the Under the Hood Show. Dave, what can we do for you?
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. I have a 2004 Dodge Diesel with a 48 RE transmission, and code 973 came up the other day talking about shift solenoid A. Is that something I could tackle in my own shop, or should I take it to somebody that knows what they're doing?
Well, a lot of times it is just the solenoid on that has failed, and you can replace it at home and fix it. And, I would look at the connector, make sure the pins aren't corroded, that everything is tight, there's no fluid coming out into the connector. And then, you could put a solenoid in it. I mean, the worst case, if you put a solenoid in it, put the pan back on, add fluid, and it still doesn't work, then you can take it in. But if it does fix it, which in a lot of cases it does, you're going to save a lot of dough.
That's what I was thinking. Then I have a second problem. We overhauled it, put the engine back in March, got about 3,500 miles on it. At about mile 1,500, anytime I go over 2,200 RPM, it starts to heat up. But if I run at 22 or less, it stays cooler. We've changed the we had a new thermostat, changed it to another new thermostat, put a fan clutch control on it, put a tighter belt on it in case that was slipping. Is that maybe the front control module not controlling my fan correctly, or what?
No,
the 22
it shuts the fan off at highway speed, unless you're under a super load. It kills it, so it just lets the air flow through. But have you put a new radiator in it yet?
We should have when we had it overhauled here about, like I say, 3,500 miles ago.
See if you put a radiator in it, because if the radiator is not perfect, it will overheat because it can't take away the heat at that higher RPM and higher flow.
So at 2,200 under tow haul is where it shuts the fan off. 2,200 RPM.
No, it's road speed. It's about 30 miles an hour, 33 miles an hour. It kills the fans.
Oh.
The electric fans.
So
This one got the electric fan. What you say is 04. That's got a fan clutch.
That's what he said.
Electric fan clutch. Yeah, that'll disable it.
correct.
It'll disable it unless it's under a very heavy load. Then it'll kick in. But at that speed, though, it still should stay cool. Without pulling a trailer at 2,200 RPM, it shouldn't need that fan to stay cool.
I am pulling a trailer, so that's why I was.
Yeah. With the trailer, it's going to have to kick in, and you'll hear it because it's loud. It should roar. And if it's not kicking in and out, then yes, that front control module could have a problem now that we're getting back to the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that fan, it should be kicking in and out as you're towing down the road, and you should be able to see that on the scanner. It should say fan commanded on or fan commanded off, and the percentage. It'll have 0 to 100. You should be able to watch that on a scanner. So have somebody watch it that's riding and see if it's commanding it on when you're going down the road. Because if it's commanding it on and it's not coming on, then either your fan is bad, but you could turn that on with a scanner and see if it's working, or the control module is not commanding the fan on.
Gotcha. Sounds like a good idea to try the scan tool to see if it's kicking on and off. I can hear it sometimes, but I don't know if it's kicking on and off correctly. So it's 2,200 RPMs has nothing to do with anything in particular. It's just that
No.
temperature that it's running cooler.
No, I'm going the route of a regular electric fan. Electric fans are shut down when the vehicle hits road speed.
Dave, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Howard. You're on the end of the Hood Show, Howard. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I've got a 2019 Silverado. I'm wondering about a chip for it. I found a Vortex chip up to 35 horsepower and up to 9 miles per gallon better fuel mileage. That's hard to believe without it leaning the engine out too much.
You found an amazing opportunity that I can't believe GM missed. I want to make sure you say those numbers again right. Their claim is what?
Up to 35 horsepower addition and up to 9 miles per gallon better fuel mileage.
The claim on the fuel economy gets me very concerned that this is not good marketing, because you can get power programmers.
Not true marketing.
I'm just concerned. Because, I mean, a 19 Silverado, first of all, for other people listening, there is not your technology that you're used to when you were first hearing about this stuff is the same as mine.
It's not a diesel.
You'd put a chip in it. You'd remove a PROM out of the computer and you'd put a chip in it. And nowadays, everything is done through manipulation of the engine computer and the control systems. So it's a programmer that you put in, and it drops a program into the computer to modify it.
Right.
That level of modification sounds illegal.
I don't know how
without tuning the engine different, and
you'd need different fuel. You'd need really
Right.
premium fuel to make it work.
Right.
Did you find this on the dark web somewhere, or is it a widely known brand?
It's just on the internet. Go to, I can't remember what it was, but you can probably just put in Vortex performance chip and find it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy it. I mean, I I don't think it's going to do that.
Because we've had partnerships with companies that are name brand power programmers. Yeah. And matter of fact, Russ has got one on his Tahoe yet that you guys still used. You did take it off?
Yeah, it only gave me about 2 miles to the gallon, and I had to run premium all the time, and I said, forget that.
But there was adjustments you could make to run a program that would be for better fuel economy. There was another one you could get for more power off the line, another one for towing, and they would slightly modify those parameters within the computer, and you could notice a little difference.
Yeah, I had it on the economy only.
And that particular one had a driving coach that kind of could help you.
That's where most of it came from.
Yeah, and it would teach you how to not hammer the throttle and that sort of stuff, and that driving coach could help you gain fuel economy. But a claim of 9 miles per gallon is not even close to attainable there's something going on there.
Those well-known companies told us that 2 is about the max that they could ever achieve. They couldn't even do it in testing, not with regular pump fuel.
And there's a lot of things out there that were being promoted that the Federal Trade Commission came down pretty hard on for different gadgets and different ideas. So I am going to do a little Google searching on the way you presented that name, because on that particular vehicle, that 19 Silverado, is it the newer generation with the LT1 engine in it?
Oh, it's a 5.3. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the 19 could be a classic that looked like a 14, or it could be the new generation that is an actual Silverado nameplate that has the unibody front structure, and it's the newer looking truck. Which one is yours?
And this one is a newer looking truck. It's
I did an old one
drive.
yesterday.
It's a 1500 LT.
Yeah, it looks more modern. It's more rounded in the front, and yeah, they're definitely. I don't know of anything I've heard of with that particular engine that you could do that.
Howard, if you find that again, send that to us on our Facebook page, would you? I'd like to look at that website and see. I mean, if you find that actual ad or whatever it was. I also just came up with a terrible idea. I mean, a good idea, but let's start a performance garage for trucks and put it on a really, really high, far hill. And then the trucks come in, we fix them, and then say,
I got awful mileage coming here.
Yeah, but on my way home, you guys are great, right?
We'll put it up
every time I come to the
Denver.
shop, I get better fuel economy. But
you guys have to
when I leave,
I better come more often. Yeah, it'll be a subscription service.
What's the name of
This
it?
is a great idea.
Mile High.
Rocky Top.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Guaranteed car repair advice or double your free back. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Oklahoma and talk to Jacob. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jacob, what can we do for you?
Hey, how's it going?
Great, Jacob.
So I've got a 1994 Lexus ES300, and it's been doing this weird thing where it'll seem to run just fine, but after I drive it for a little bit, when I let it idle, when I'm like at a red light or something, it'll sort of sound like it's cammed. The RPM will fluctuate up and down, and sometimes in those dips in the fluctuation, it'll die. But then it'll start up just fine.
And this is the V6 motor in there, correct?
300.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Similar car to a Camry.
Yes, very.
Sounds like it's got either a vacuum leak or a mass air problem. They'll do that. They'll had that on several of the 400s. They would do that when they would get a bad mass airflow or just dirt on the mass airflow sensor, and we'd clean it off. They would do that a lot. They would idle up and down, surge.
Any check engine lights or
Okay.
any other indications inside the car other than you're obviously having symptoms?
No, yeah, no check engine lights. What I should add is I recently replaced the timing belt and water pump, and I did it with my brother-in-law. But we got no check engine lights after that, and it ran just fine. But that's the only thing I could think of is, like, sometimes when something breaks, it has something to do with the most recent thing you did.
We always ask, where have the humans been?
If it's off a tooth, it can cause issues like that too.
He doesn't want to hear that, Russ.
And it may not be picking it up as a cam crank correlation code, but I would definitely, before you touch any of that, I would look at the mass airflow and make sure it's clean and that the air intake tube is connected on there.
No air leaks on that air cleaner intake setup. Make sure to double check all that.
Those intake tubes are very common to fail. In fact, they fail so often that our partner over at Dorman Products sells a ton of different air intake tubes because they crack with age and they tear because the motor moves, and those don't necessarily move because they're mounted to the air box. So as they're moving back and forth, they get little holes in the bottom usually where you can't see them, and then they're sucking air in, and it makes them, as it picks up RPM, it sucks more, and then it slows down, so the leak seals up, and then it goes up, and it pulls. It's like every time. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're cheap.
Okay. I'm hoping it's that.
Yeah, go for that because it's a '94. It could definitely. I mean, it's an antique now. It's 30 years old.
There you go, Jacob. Thanks very much for the call. Good luck. If the timing's off, so you have to get out a light, or is it not that old?
No.
If the timing's off, he has to physically take it apart again.
Right.
And
I took one of these apart.
What's the last?
Basically the same car, but
when
with
was
a different
the
engine.
end of the strobe light for timing?
2001.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 99 for some of the Suburbans with the Vortec. I mean, we were setting them at 0, but still, you had the Vortec engine. But the true, I'd say 94 for most stuff with like in GM trucks with the true distributor. But the end of the strobe light for timing, we're still using them today for older cars.
Did you bust it out for the '68 Land Rover? Did you ever find the timing mark on there?
I couldn't find a timing mark, so I gave it up. Shannon's got.
I figured it was still around for older cars, but yeah, I mean it's not.
So you folks out there heard us say Shannon bought an electric car, and y'all went, "Ooh." He also bought a Land Rover Series 2B,
2A,
2A, because it's got.
I'm acting like an expert now. I didn't even know what I bought. It was just cute.
Yeah, and we should. It's. Yeah, you have.
When
to
I heard
look
he
at
bought one, I wanted to make sure that I didn't
68?
say I knew anything about it.
68.
68.
All right, so it doesn't.
Did you see it up at the shop?
I've seen it out in the
that's
parking
right.
lot when it was here. Yeah, it's adorable. It is.
It's so ugly, it's cute.
It's
and
not,
got
that's exactly right.
It's got the roof cooler option too. Did you see that?
No.
It's got a hat. It wears a hat like you. You'd love it.
So out in the Safari, it would absorb the heat so that it didn't get so hot in the cat.
It's got an umbrella, a steel umbrella.
It's not fancy.
No,
I mean it's not like a.
No, it's a rugged little workhorse, but we'll never see work.
It looks like a male Jeep from England in the 60s.
From Africa.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Tom. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tom, what can we do for you?
Hey, I'm looking at buying a 2023 Nissan Rogue, and I hear all these stories about the CVT. I was kind of wondering if you could give me some stuff to look for before I buy it for problems.
How many miles are on the Rogue, Tom?
A spare transmission.
No, you're being dramatic.
It's only got 23,000
That's
on
what you
it,
look
but
for.
all the talk makes me worry.
Go ahead, Russ.
Here's my opinion on CVTs in these vehicles. I believe that if every single owner of one of these would change the transmission fluid at 15,000 miles once, that transmission has probably a 90% better chance of lasting longer. I think it's like a rebuilt engine that you need to change the oil at 500 miles and then regular oil changes after. If you would change that and clean out all the stuff that's wearing in there right away, and I've seen this. I've seen multiple people that have done this and reported that their transmission has been fine. Because I've seen people change them every 35,000. And let's say we had a control group of 100 people and they all changed them at 35,000. There were still a lot of those that failed close to 100,000 miles compared to the ones that changed it first at 10 to 15 and then started changing it at regular intervals. So I think The first change is important. That's my suggestion for people. I had somebody recently with a new car, and they said, "What should I be doing with this?" And I said, "Your 10,000 mile, they wanted 10,000 mile oil changes on it." And the first one we did, I said, "Yes, the first one, let's go 10, and then let's knock that back to 5. And then on this CVT, let's get this thing changed at 15,000, and then every 35 from there." And they said, "All right, we'll give it a shot," because they plan on keeping it. It's not a lease.
And they sold and sell and continue to sell a billion of these cars.
There are so many out there,
and
that
they're
don't
not
fail.
all they're not all failing at all.
But there's so many on the road that you're going to see them.
You hear about everyone because
They're
of it.
expensive.
Because there you go. Because they're so expensive to fix. But
Well, the miles per gallon in an all-wheel drive really is attractive, so that's what's got me wondering.
I've got friends that have them and they love them. They're a great car. They're a good value for the money. And I think Russ hit it right on the head. If you go ahead and do that fluid drain
I
and fill,
changed it at, let's say, 15.
right now it's got 23,000 miles. So
Change
I
it
changed now.
You're a little late for the first one, but let's get it done now, and then every 35,000. It's a drain and fill. It's a few quarts.
And you have to use the Nissan CVT fluid.
Don't change that.
Right. But
Okay.
I'm
The wrong
familiar
fluid.
around engines. What is that something I can do at
Yes.
home, or do I need to
Oh,
go
yeah.
to a shop?
No, you can do it.
Because it's just a drain and fill, right?
Yep, it's a drain and fill.
There's
Getting
nothing specific like they used to have. Dealer dipstick, whatever.
no, there's no dipstick on this one.
Just put in what you get out, or what?
No, there's a high fill mark and a low fill mark. But our trick is, one of the guys learned.
Hello.
One of our guys learned, drain the fluid into a container, so you know exactly how. What we do is we drain it into a container. We mark the container so we know exactly how many drops came out, and then we dump that out, clean the container out, fill it with brand new fluid to that mark, and then we dump it in because we know exactly what came out is what goes in. They vary from car to car as much as a half a quart.
Okay.
And you know how much a quart is, Chris?
It's a quarter of a gallon.
There you go.
Is it
boom? Broke my mind.
Is it? What was I going to ask? Oh, how much is coming out? How big of a container do I need?
It's about 2.5 quarts, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay, so not
more
very
than
big.
likely.
It's
Bigger
not
than a
big-
beaker.
You can buy a professional type shop oil fill container for about $25.
Okay,
It's got graduations up to 8 quarts, and you just pour it in. And
it's 2 gallons.
You're on this.
You could use a pitcher too. I mean, you can only use it probably once. You
like
don't
a
want
beer pitcher?
Yeah, a big one. Like if you got a big cooler.
There's one in
for
the house
iced
from
tea.
Tupperware that's for iced tea. You just grab
don't
that.
use the Tupperware. Use Rubbermaid.
It'll always
'Cause
be that use.
Yeah, you can't. Bring it,
Now we're going to bring up the whole Tupperware Rubbermaid thing,
don't put
huh?
it back in the kitchen.
No,
after you
just
change them.
keep it for that use. You mark it and you write on the side of it with a Sharpie.
CVT
Tupperware,
fill only.
Rubbermaid,
Nissan,
Arbonne, Avon.
CVT.
Come on.
Only.
Tomato.
You don't want to bring it back in and start using it again.
I have had people put everything in these CVTs, 80, 90,
It'll kill it.
automatic transmission
kill it.
fluid. What are you thinking?
Matter of fact, you don't even want to. I think if you take the Tupperware, you got to just get rid of it. Use it, and then you got to get rid of it.
You gotta get rid of the evidence?
And then never say anything. You can't say, oh, I used it to change the.
What was your favorite Tupperware, Chris, out of all of them? Is there one that jumped right out at you? I know mine.
The round one with the
The push button?
No, with the lid was like a sunray. It had a round hole, a round middle, and then it had
Mine was the push button freshness saver lid on the lemonade dispenser. You put the lid on, then you push the little button down in the center, and it vacuum seals it.
When we were kids,
Supposed to.
I don't know if this was Tupperware. I think it was, but we ate a lot of pickles.
Okay.
And we had you pulled it out with a handle, and the juice would stay in, and you grabbed the pickles, and I think that was Tupperware, and then it had a lid on top to seal
The
it.
only reason this comes up that we watched a documentary on something the other night, and then we watched a documentary on Tupperware. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Things that have gone away that are
Both your documentaries had a lot of plastic in them.
They sure did. They sure did.
My favorite Tupperware was
Sealed
the
for
round
freshness.
thing, because the first time I saw one was my mother-in-law's, and she gave it to us.
Oh my gosh, that was the name of the documentary, Sealed for Freshness.
She gave it to us full of dessert.
Oh.
So my first experience with this round Tupperware was it was filled with a delicious fruity dessert. So that's just what I think right
Or
away.
that
Yeah.
Jello type, strawberry
to-
type, foamy thingy.
When I was a kid, we had the cereal bowls or bowls, And the lids of this is what
We had the
had in my
colored
house.
ones.
We had 4 bowls. We had 4 boys. And then the lids of those bowls were our plates. That's it. That's the only plates we had other than big plates. The only small plates we had were the bowl lids.
We took those to school. You take the lid off, flip it over.
Just remembered that.
We're having a lot of good memories here.
Uh-huh.
I want to have a pickle right now.
I'm going to the store and buying
hamburger slices is all we ever had in there.
I'm gonna make that fruity dessert today. Is what I'm gonna do.
Eat a lot of them. I don't know why.
That's gonna do it for the Under the Hood Show. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, you can find us at underthehoodshow.com. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can catch it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our YouTube channel.
Just like Hamburger Helper, when you need a helping hand, we're here.
Oh, yeah. All right. After show. This is the after
All right.
show. Thanks to Alex, by the way, if you're still in there. He's working on our tech while we're doing it.
He cannot hear us.
Can he if he's in,
What if he's watching the
program
show?
right now?
No. He'd have to be on YouTube to hear us because that software for video is not taking audio.
Okay.
The
All
microphones switch, but they're separate. There's a box outside, and it sends it through. Anybody who wants to buy a system, it's called HTV Mixer. It's pretty slick.
Mm-hmm.
But unless he can read lips, he's probably he might be on YouTube just trying to see if it lines up. and
Oh, that
everything.
could be. Yeah, because we do notice that on YouTube the lips and the voice are a little off. Not much, but a little bit.
Very so slightly. I mean, it was way off. If you noticed, last few weeks we were having a video card issue, and it just finally said, "Hey, instead of fixing the video card, let's just go spend a buttload of money and buy a whole new computer."
Right, yeah.
But it's definitely night and day
Oh, he's
difference.
out. I just see the notice that Alex has left.
He heard us. He's left.
Yeah, he's like,
Alex
"I'm outta
has left the building.
Let's go to Kansas City and talk to Rock. You're on the Under the Hood Show, Rock. What can we do for you?
Hey guys, just a quick follow up, and then I have a question on AC. I called earlier on the skid steer that's yellow, and it was running after you shut the key off, and you guys suggested that it might be a seal in the turbo. Just curious, how critical is that? Is that something that I need to look at and fix immediately, or can I get to it this winter? What's the thought?
Yeah, if it's been doing it this long, you said it was doing it before you owned it, so it's probably not that critical. Whatever it is.
Okay.
If you take that hose off and you find that it's got quite a bit of oil in it,
If it pours out.
Yeah, plus you've been losing a little bit of oil and having to add oil back into it. If that ratio changes, stop, because then all of a sudden you're going to suck the oil out of the engine and kill the engine.
Okay.
If that seal completely goes, if that's what it is, we're totally. This is wild speculation right now.
Right. We're guessing. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it does make sense because it does smoke a little bit, and I don't know what else it could be because it does just run 5 to 10 seconds. So that'll be something to check.
Hey, I got to tell you though, if you find that is the issue, I would like you to tell me because it would really make me feel good because I took a swing at that as a guess, and I'd like to know if that was right because I just had a friend of mine recently that had a semi. His son had. He just told me this story yesterday. This probably wouldn't even have been in my head that they were driving and they had his family with. And they were doing a semi run to haul something wherever they were going, Kansas City or whatever, and all of a sudden they got out of the truck and it took off and it was in runaway mode. And he couldn't stop it, and he sat there with his kids and watched his engine blow up in his semi.
Fire extinguisher.
And
pull it out of the back.
And what it was
DOT.
what had happened is a seal had went out of the turbo, and it started pulling oil out of the engine, and it just kept fueling it, and they couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
Did you have another question on it?
Yes, I did. So on the AC, this is a 2006. My 99 Ford F350. The AC in it is fantastic. On this one, I still have to kind of go through and make sure everything's clean. It's got good airflow. The fans are working. But I'm just curious, can you supercharge this? Can you put a bigger compressor on it? Or is the R134 in that year
good if everything's working, and it should provide decent AC cooling. I've just heard that they've never really worked that well, and I'm wondering if I can, do a mod on it to get a bigger compressor or something to, or do I need to change the dryer on it, or what's thoughts?
Problem with it is this is an R12 truck. It's an R12 system that they have put 134 in from the factory because that truck body style was R12.
Yep.
Same thing happened with the Chevys, and now they're even doing it. So the Silverados, the new Silverados, when they switch from 134 to 1234, they both use the identical condenser. Both trucks. Same fitting, same everything, because there's no valve on it, but it's same fitting. So they use the same. So those perform very similar, the coldness. But an R12 and a 134 system is drastically different. I have a truck with 134 in it, and I was actually thinking about reverse converting it to R12, but the obtaining of the 12 is difficult. It uses a 12 compressor, it uses a 12 condenser, it uses a 12 evaporator, and it would just be so much better because a 1993 truck is like, wow, this thing really cools at idle speed. Highway's fine, but at idle,
how many pounds do you need?
2.50.
I'll bring my keg over.
Yeah.
You can have that. You've been helping me. I can trade you out some R12.
But I want to convert that back because it's all brand new, so I know it's leak free, but I want to convert it back to 12. It will work better at idle. Now, going down the road, yours probably works fine, right? If you're on the highway.
Well, yeah, and again, this is a skid steer, so they don't like me taking it on the highway.
I thought you were talking about your 94 Ford truck.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about your truck.
Well, no, the 99 works fantastic. That's the diesel. I was just comparing. The 99 works fantastic. This is a 2006.
So are you talking about air conditioning in the skid steer?
Yes.
We missed that trip you took us on there.
Let's start this over because because this got way out of control.
Hey, we were talking about the truck.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys
shows how quick we can go for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back. I'll re-ask that question. Did you have another question on this skid steer?
Yes, I do. I have AC in it, and it doesn't work as well as I would like. Can I put a bigger compressor in it? Is there anything I can do? Okay.
You can. So it's probably got like a Nippon Denso, like an ND7 or something compressor on it. There's two different compressors that may fit that. I think it's a 10 and the 7, but maybe a 12. But there's different compressors you can put on them that have different numbers of pistons in them, different displacements that will pump more refrigerant. And then you can switch the expansion valves on those. I mean, there's lots of different things you can do to upgrade them. There's not a lot to them. You've got a universal evaporator up in the top of the cab there in the roof, and then you've got a compressor on it. You got a condenser and a fan. So there are different size condensers you can get. What you need to do is find out what the weak point is. You take a temp gun and you check the inlet and outlet temperature on that condenser and see what that is. If it's not dropping sufficiently, you can put a bigger condenser in it, bigger fan if you need to. Make sure it's all clean for sure. And there's airflow. Airflow can be a big problem on those, even if you've got big enough components. But yeah, you can get a bigger compressor too if you're not flowing enough. You got to watch the gauges and see where you're at. You want enough differential in it. Usually if you're like 175 to 185 on the high side and 35 to 38 on the low side, that's the optimum of efficiency for that system that you're going to get out of it. If it's running those numbers, you're not going to get anything better until you go to a bigger system. It's like a house, more tons, more air. You can get bigger systems.
I have another suggestion. If you got everything clean, it's all working, have somebody tint the windows.
Oh, that's a huge difference on those things.
Interesting.
Okay.
Not the front window will be hard to see out, but just side windows for sure make a difference.
And if it's got a roof, if it's got a glass up top or something, have them tint it. Take it. There's guys that will come out, commercial guys that do windows and stuff for offices. They could come out and do that. It might make a big difference.
Okay.
Interesting.
Sounds good. Yeah. It's just, again, it's 2006. I got to replace, fans in the top and, just, so I'm going through it. So yeah, that's a good idea. I may look at, so does the amount of refrigerant change if I put a bigger condenser in it that I need?
Yes. That's what we charge by. We start off with the original amount, and then we look at the gauges and we see if we need to add anything.
Okay.
Might not need to add any because it's not a whole lot of difference. Sometimes they'll work a little better with a little less refrigerant, and that can be adjusted too. And even with what you have now, you might adjust the refrigerant. You take it out, take 2 ounces out and see if it cools better, and then maybe add 2 ounces and see if it cools better. Find out what that sweet spot is, because they're just given the best from what they found for that system. And their system is on a bench. It's not installed in the vehicle when they've tested it. They just have a system that's X amount of cubic inches inside. They're like, okay, run it. This is what's going to work. They don't have it in the machine operating because that system may go on 50 different types of units.
Sure.
Forklift, little truck.
Rock, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. All right. Are we ready? I think we're ready. We got stuff to do here.
My lunchtime to go for the family. They're waiting at 1:00. They don't believe me that I'll be there and ready to go by then. Especially since I'm not packed.
Heck yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be close.
Not completely packed.
It'll be interesting.
Partially packed, my personal stuff.
You like to make things interesting.
I'm going to go home packed tonight. It'll take me 10 minutes.
Bring the rattlesnake revolver.
I'm going to bring my hat too.
They say, who's that dork?
Bring a machete.
At the door. You know what I realized? I know how to get to the hotel, but I don't know where I'm going for the wedding.
I just got a picture of the venue. I don't know. It's on the card, I think.
The card? She was trying to find it last night.
I can get that information for you.
Good.
They might want to send me the text. Because
That's going to do it for the Under the Hood show. All right. See you guys later. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for hanging out with us for the technical stuff today, too. If you're on YouTube, we're getting some stuff handled here, and I think we've got it handled. So there you go.
There.
Thanks, everybody.